Here, Leo. Eagles come to town, and this is a very interesting matchup to me, Leo, because, look, the Bills have played a relatively easy schedule so far. They've won 5 games, and I think they should have won every one of those games, really. I mean, there's no reason to say that they shouldn't have won any of them. They lost to the best team in the league. But now they get an Eagles team, Leo, that is a very interesting team so far. They've got a lot of talent on that team, but they have clearly underachieved all year. They just got smoked last week on national TV by the Cowboys, and they come in a wounded dog, and that's the kind of opponent, Leo, that quite frankly scares me a little bit. What do you think?
Well, I think if they win this game, Sal, it'll be the Bills' first quality win. They haven't beaten anybody.
You're right.
I mean, really, in the combined record of their 5 wins is, is 6-27.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, and 2 of those games, the Jets and the Tennessee game, they can send a nice fruit basket to their field goal kickers because they were horrible. That's why they won.
Yep.
And yet the flip side, and there's always a flip side. I mean, this is a Bills team that, unlike years past, their playmakers are rising up. They're making plays when they need to.
Yep.
And whether it's last week was a classic against the winless Dolphins, and the plays they made near that goal line on the Jordan Phillips, and then followed by Trey White, and then the offense gets its act together for one nice long drive.
Yeah.
That's all they got to do, and they win that game. But I think this is and I know a lot of fans, other people were saying, the Bills can't win. A lot of critics, there's a lot of analysis of Josh Allen's game. I think it's a good sign that a team can be critically looked at, as opposed to Bills teams of the past, these past 20 years, where they were bad and that was it. This is a team that should be looked at analytically and have high expectations for. And they pumped a lot of money into this offseason. It's year 3 of Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott. You know what? There's no reason to apologize for critically looking at their number 1 franchise quarterback and the rest of this team that in year 3 is supposed to be doing something, and they are.
It's quite a dichotomy with Josh Allen, right? He is really a polarizing player. Every time anybody criticizes this guy, you've got half the fan base killing you for having the gall to criticize the number 1 pick in 2018, and then you have the other half that is fully in agreement with you because they think he's a bum. Now, I don't fall on either side of that category. Right now, I'm kind of in the middle with Josh Allen. I don't know what he's going to be. We've got 17 or 18 games, whatever it is now, of a sample size, and I like most of what I've seen from Josh Allen, but there are clearly warts on this kid's game, and it's our job, we think, to point those out to the fan base. And don't hold us accountable because we're pointing out facts. Now, I've got a story on the website this morning that kind of takes a dive into one of the hot topics that we've all been talking about all year, is his inability to complete a deep pass. Leo, he's 0 for 10 on balls that are at least 30 yards down the field. And in the 20 to beyond range, it's 9 of 28, which is 32%. That's not good. In anybody's calculation, that's not good. Now, the flip side is, they're 5-1. They're winning despite his inaccuracy on deep passes. But this is a part of his game, Leo, that needs to be looked at and analyzed. And I'm sorry that we're, not patting Josh on the back. This is the thing he has to clean up, and his coaches have said the same thing.
Yeah.
They've got to be better on those.
Well, it's no sense having a big, giant arm if you can't hook up on these deep balls, unless you're thrilled by him throwing the ball, trying to get it out of the stadium every week. If that's what you got him for, some entertainment value. But hey, listen, I like Josh Allen. I like him a lot.
So do I. I don't know why people think I hate him. I don't hate him.
Because I like him is because unlike the Tyrod Taylors of the world and your J.P. Losmans and E.J. Manuels and the Kyle Ortons, and this is a kid that has a chance to be here for the next decade. And he's got a lot of that potential, and he's showing it. And his numbers are up from last year. His accuracy is better. His yards per attempt is better. His QB rating is better. They're coaching him better. He's got more weapons around him, and it's only going to get better.
You hope.
If we talk about the trade deadline in a minute, but you're right. I mean, I like when they throw the long ball. They have to. That's what you got him for. And if they hook up on one of those eventually, yes, it's going to make everything else function better, particularly the run game, which could really get going. But you're right. Last week against Miami, my God, he was nowhere close to hooking up with anybody.
Really, really bad accuracy. Now he threw a nice ball, a couple nice balls in that 20
range, yes.
yard range. I mean, the reason I go 20 yards, Leo, is Pro Football Focus, which does a really good job with their statistical things that they offer up. They do a nice job. I don't believe in their grades at all. I completely ignore their grading system, but they put a lot of good statistical categories out, and they base deep passes on 20 yards or more. So all the numbers I used today were based on those numbers. Now, I consider 30 yards and more a true deep pass. And like I said, on Next Gen Stats, you can look at his passing grids. They're all there from last season and this season. You can see very clearly where the incompletions are after 30 yards. He's 3 of 34 on balls that travel at least 30. So that's not good. But look, you made the point, and he is improving. I mean, I think there is progress being made in many areas of his game. His accuracy is always going to take a hit if he can't continue or improve on that intermediate to deep passing game. He's been better with the short passes this year. That was a problem for him last year. I looked at his adjusted completion percentage, Leo. You take away throwaways, spikes, and drops this year, he's 77.2%. Last year it was like 64% on adjusted.
Yeah.
He was 52.8 just completion percentage, but the adjusted is the way to look at this because you can't really count throwaways, spikes.
And that's why they got a guy like Cole Beasley to help his percentages on those shorter routes and throwing to the running back more. And the tight end, if Dawson Knox could hang on to a ball, that would be great. So that's been working. So the other thing you pointed out, I think you had it on Monday, Sal, is that the other thing about Josh Allen that is really great is his fourth quarter. There hasn't been a better fourth quarter quarterback in the NFL this year, and that's something that you can't just dismiss and you can't really teach almost, because that really shows the kid's ability, his competitive level, his ability to work under pressure. He has come through in those fourth quarters of these games.
Undeniable.
And I'm thinking that's a really good trait that they got out of this guy. And now you look at that quarterback class of 2018, and I'm telling you what, it's looking like the Bills and Baltimore with Lamar Jackson. Looks like they got the two guys.
Well, it's early.
It's early.
Early. Mayfield.
But I tell you, I watched that Jets game again, and Sam Darnold against the Patriots, and oh my God,
that was bad.
Now, of course, the Patriots didn't made Josh Allen look a little human as well, but Josh
a little
also got 3 picks.
He was human.
Yeah, but he also was getting it together after a while. It wasn't,
It's too bad he got hurt. It would have been.
I would
nice
like to see what he would have done on that drive early in the fourth quarter. And if he had punched that ball in and they had taken the lead, with that, we'd be talking. It'd be they'd be a whole different story.
Brady would go right back down.
Yeah, well, probably.
But it would. You're right. It would have been very. It sucked that he got hurt because I did want to see him in that situation. Rallying against the Jets, Bengals, and Dolphins, that's one thing. But if he had come back against the Patriots, that's quite remarkable.
Right.
Look, we're going to be talking about Josh Allen on this podcast, in our stories, for a long time to come. And I really do believe, Leo, you made the point about which of those 5 quarterbacks may end up being the best one. I don't know if that's going to be Josh Allen. I still think Mayfield, once he gets it together, is pretty good. I've said right along, now, Monday, he looked like the worst quarterback on earth, Sam Darnold. I still have this feeling if they ever get their act together, I just always liked him the best out of all these guys. And I think long term, I think he might end up being the best of the bunch. Lamar Jackson, I don't know what to make of him yet. I mean, he's a great runner, but I mean, we complain every week with the Bills. Why are they putting Josh Allen in harm's way over and over? The Ravens, he's getting 100 yards a game rushing. I know he's good at avoiding the hit and all that. He's a great athlete. Leo, in the NFL at some point, that's going to kill Lamar Jackson. I don't know if he's sustainable for a long-term future if he keeps playing like that. So I don't know. Josh Allen, to me, right now he's kind of in the middle. He's better than Josh Rosen for sure. We'll see. But we're going to be having this discussion for several years.
A long time.
I mean, they've got him for at least 4 years and maybe 5. So
yeah, well, it's 5 years when you judge every draft class. So yeah, we got a ways to go on all these guys. But a great point on Lamar Jackson. We're going to see him later in the year as well. And yeah, he's really run. He's blown away Michael Vick's numbers and all that, and everything else for as far as a running quarterback goes. So Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, that great rookie class of all these prospects, I'm thinking if the Buffalo Bills have hit on the guy, it's really gonna. What more could you ask for? And again, the fact it's year 2 for Josh Allen, and we're picking apart his game. It's a good thing, everybody.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. And it's going to be interesting too. Sal, this game on Sunday, he's going to go against Carson Wentz, second overall pick of a couple years before, and he's had a really nice progression in his start. You're going to see, this is really one of the outside of Brady. They're finally playing a real quarterback as well,
Yeah.
and so this is a good game. I want to, offensively and defensively, it's really going to be a good because it's been so hard to measure how good this Bills team really is.
Yeah.
If their MO is that they're always going to be doing things on a high wire and pulling games out and roller coaster and making it harder than it has to be or playing to the level of their opponents, well, so be it. Maybe it's just one of those years. Maybe it's just ride it and enjoy it and see where it ends up. But if they're going to really be that team,
Right.
the
team everyone's talking about, the second best team in the conference.
Yes,
allegedly.
and then they need to really put it together from start to finish, beat some quality opponents. There's not a whole lot of them on this schedule.
No.
But start doing it. That's why the Miami game, and everyone's happy they won. It's a feather in their cap that they pulled it out. But, you look at New England, their point differential is 175 points. They play the Jets, they beat them 33-0.
Yeah.
They play Miami, they beat them 43-0. So I'm going to say, if you want some measuring sticks, that's all we have to go by.
The common opponents.
And the Patriots just continue to take care of business.
Yeah, and the Bills and Patriots actually have the 2 easiest schedules in the NFL. Based on right now where all the records stand, they're the 2 easiest schedules. And let's face it, the Patriots are far superior, I think, to the Bills in terms of talent and coaching and all that. So they should be blowing these teams out. Whereas the Bills have struggled to beat some of these teams. The good news is, like we said earlier, the Bills have won these games. They're 5-1. They've put themselves in a very nice position moving forward. So now this Eagles game. Leo, I don't know what to make of this team. You mentioned Carson Wentz, terrific quarterback, but really he's not having a great year, and there's been plenty of issues. They've had offensive line problems. Jason Peters, I think, is still out for them. Deshaun Jackson is their lone deep threat. He's missed almost the whole year. I think he got hurt the first week. It's a question whether he'll play this week. Their other receivers, Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar, these guys have not been up to their potential, I guess. They're name guys who haven't played to their name. So their offense is really struggling. They've got 2 good running backs, Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard, but they haven't really relied on their running game. They continue to try to throw the ball, and it's gotten them in a little bit of trouble. So for the Bills defense, Leo, I think it's very important this week if they can really hammer down on Philadelphia's running game, make them one-dimensional. We know the Bills' pass defense is very good, and these Eagles receivers don't pose a whole lot of problem. The only guy who's really a worry is the tight end, really. Well, actually, they have 2 tight ends, Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert. I mean, that's where the Bills, if they can make them one-dimensional, I think the defense could have a nice day.
Yeah, Ertz is probably the best tight end out there right now, and he's going to be a load for the Bills, and I expect them to go to him a whole lot. And you're right, you got to shut the run down. And the Dolphins were a little effective. They were working on Buffalo a little bit and getting some positive yards for Ryan Fitzpatrick, and it really helped him a lot.
Yep.
So, this defense, Sal, and they're number 3 in points allowed and yards allowed. They're elite. They're up there with one of the best. But yet they too have areas that are a concern. They don't rush the passer all that well. They get some pressures.
Yep.
They got some hits, but what do they got? 13 sacks. I think they got 10 takeaways. There's some areas there that need improvement, and it may only come by making some moves, some bigger adjustments. I don't know what it is, but
Leslie Frazier mentioned that Monday. He said, we aren't getting the sacks, and he said we do need to get the quarterback on the ground more often. They are getting pressure, they are affecting quarterbacks, but they need to do a better job of it. I mean, Jerry Hughes. We talk about Jerry Hughes a lot in the periphery, but his numbers don't show. I mean, you watch him on film, Leo, and he is creating a little bit of pressure and havoc. I understand that he is, but he needs to get home more than he's been getting home, and it just hasn't happened. He's supposed to be their top guy, and that hasn't happened. Ed Oliver got a quasi sack last. They haven't changed that. I'm surprised
know,
they
I
haven't
really am.
changed that. It's so weird. Last week there were technically 2 sacks. Jordan Phillips deserved
I
the
thought
one.
that was a sack.
He tackled the quarterback for a 10-yard loss, didn't get a sack.
They
'cause
counted that as a run.
They counted it as an aborted run, and then Ed Oliver tackles a wide receiver who we think was going to throw the ball, but it was still a wide receiver that technically was still running. Anyway, we're off track, but
Yeah.
they did get 2 sacks last week. They were interesting sacks. They need some pass rush against Carson Wentz. They need to make him uncomfortable because, like you said, he can be a very good quarterback. He can be.
Yeah.
He's played at an elite level in the past. If you give him time, then he's going to find some guys open.
What do you notice in Tremaine Edmonds? I mean, here's the guy in the middle, a freakish body, athlete, the whole bit. He has 0 sacks, Hal. Zero.
They don't send him an awful lot. They don't.
We've always talked about it. With his body type, he's obviously more of an edge guy, an outside linebacker. They got him inside. They thought we're going to change the game with him. But you know what? They do have a lot of blocked passes too. I mean,
They do.
That is
They've done a good job with that.
That is into the Bills' favor. But couldn't you do more with Tremaine Edmonds?
Here's the thing with their defense, Leo, and this is another thing with Leslie Frazier. He's not a big blitzer. He wants to get pressure with the front 4 and cover with 7, so they don't send a lot of blitzes. And really, a lot of times when they do blitz, Leo, it's a corner or a safety. They'll send Jordan Poyer. They'll send Trey White occasionally. It's not often with their linebackers. They like Milano and Edmonds back. Now, he's gone in there a couple times. There was a few plays that I can recall. Tremaine Edmonds right up the middle, didn't get a sack, but made the quarterback move and disrupted a play. But they just don't ask him to do that. And I've seen this a lot in my Twitter feed, Leo, with Edmonds, that a lot of fans out there think that he should be an outside linebacker, that he really shouldn't be the middle linebacker. His skill set, I think the reason why he's in the middle is because he is such a great athlete, and he can do the proverbial sideline to sideline, and that's why they want him there. Whereas if you put him on one side, maybe that takes away some effectiveness to go to the far side of the field. That's what I think they're thinking. But it'll be interesting next year when Lorenzo Alexander is retired, which I assume he's going to retire. He said he's going to. Now you've got a wide open spot at the edge. Maybe next year they do something. Maybe they will flip him out there. Maybe not. Maybe he'll be Dick Butkus for the next 10 years. I don't know. But he's a very interesting player, Leo. Another guy like Josh Allen, don't criticize him. Do not make the mistake of criticizing Tremaine Edmonds because you will. I've gotten it. A lot of backlash there. He's kind of an unprotected guy.
And whatever you say, everything you say, Sal, is spot on. I understand their scheme. I understand what Leslie Frazier does. It's just that when you have this, this Ferrari in the garage and you don't want to take it out, to me it seems like a waste of a rare talent. Get to the quarterback because that's where the turnovers happen.
That's right.
I don't really know if I'm that thrilled with him being a glorified pass defender.
I know he's in pass coverage an awful lot. He really is. He's back. He drops an awful lot because they don't blitz.
And their linebackers, their linebackers in totality are really another area that could use improving.
Next year for sure they've got it. I think Milano. I don't know.
Milano's interesting. He's a nice player.
I think he's a good player. I wonder if he might be a better suited middle linebacker. I think maybe not because he's kind of undersized, and maybe they don't want him in the middle of the field. But I've always thought, like, of the two, it just seems like maybe he's a better fit in the middle because Edmonds is the better athlete on the edge. But they're not doing it, and I'm not going to criticize Leslie Frazier because they've got this defense.
No, they got it humming, and again, here we are, we're nitpicking. But so in general, my thought on this whole thing, what's going on right now, is that, and it plays into this trade deadline. If you're going to make a move to get better, very rarely when an offense and a defense are humming together, when you have it all three, and special teams, when you get them all going.
Right.
Usually, it's you're not going to get them all being a top 5 rankings and all great on both sides of the ball. This defense right now, you can't expect it to be the same defense next year after Jerry Hughes is up there. Star Latulele, and you mentioned Lorenzo is going to be gone probably. The safeties, Porter and Hyder, are fantastic, but they've got a lot of, over these last 3 years with Sean McDermott, they got a lot of miles on them. They're among the leading tacklers. They do everything. They can't play at that level forever either. So I guess the point is you got to ask yourselves with the Bills, what are you waiting for? You don't know when you're going to have this defense again. if this is a defense good enough to make that really serious run, then you better try to make it better or do something to make this offense a little bit better.
Well, let's talk about the trade deadline because I know you're writing about that. And look, I think the Bills have been in the mix on some of these guys that have already been moved. I think Brandon Beane, if he has a priority at the trade deadline, I think it is wide receiver. I think we've seen that, John Brown's been a nice player for them, but I still think that they need help at wide receiver. I mean, Duke Williams, look, nice story. He had one catch last week, and then he got hurt. Hopefully, he's in the red jersey today. He may not even play. Robert Foster he's gone. He's like not even there. He might have to play this week if Williams can't. Cole Beasley, good slot guy, and John Brown, as I said, they could use another receiver.
Absolutely.
I mean, Emmanuel Sanders has already been traded. Mohamed Sanu has already been traded. A.J. Green is
To
the
New
name.
England.
Yeah, right. A.J. Green is the name that's hanging out there. Should the Bills make that move? He's an elite receiver. He's also 31, and he'll be a free agent at the end of the year. So you got to balance. Do you want to pay for a guy who's probably going to be a rental? To your point, they're in a position right now. They're 5-1. Maybe they look to make that move, to make the extra push. They're going to be on the road for the playoffs regardless because they're going to be a wild card team. But maybe that's a guy who puts you over and gets you past the wild card round. Maybe it gets you past the divisional round. I don't know.
Point being, if you have a defense this good, get them an offense that can score a little bit more here.
Yeah.
I mean, because it is going to catch up to them. It's just going to. And you mentioned, receiver, absolutely. The other name out there a lot is Devontae Parker. Miami continues to sell off all its assets.
I'm not sure.
I like him.
But is he the answer? Is he going to put you over the top?
Well, he's a big body. He's been productive. He's affordable. I think he's got another year on his deal. He's a guy that I think is a guy that would be better than they have, and you could get him.
All right.
The other guy, of course, Sal is Melvin Gordon with the Chargers.
I have zero interest in that. I just have zero interest in him.
His career's done out there. They need to move him. He probably could be had for a third rounder.
But thinking about this year, why do you need him this year?
Well, I'm not sold on it was Frank Gore. Love him, great story. Death, taxes, and Frank Gore, right?
Right.
Singletary gives you some flash. Seriously, this running, they don't have the running, they don't have the horse at running back to really
See, I don't know.
move this ball consistently.
We've seen so little of Singletary. I'm not ready to say that he can't be the guy, and then Frank Gore could come in to give him a rest. I mean, right now they're relying on Frank Gore. To me, running back would be the wrong way to go. We can disagree on this.
Yeah.
I just don't see the need.
Well, Melvin Gordon, he's
for this year.
26. He's like, you get him like you got McCoy, a guy that'll give you another 5 years. Yeah, then you don't worry about it next year.
All I know is the last time I saw Melvin Gordon was on the goal line in Tennessee, and he couldn't get in the end zone in like 5 straight plays, and ended up fumbling the ball away. So
All right.
you're not coming at me with Melvin Gordon right now. I'm sorry, I'm not buying that.
How do you like Kenyon Drake from
Well, he's
Miami?
a big-bodied running back. I mean, he's interesting. The Bills have rarely had that kind of running back, right? They've always had these shifty, flashy guys. That guy's a load. Maybe he'd be an ideal candidate for a change of scenery.
And for tight end, the names are floating out there. There's O.J. Howard.
Well, they don't need tight ends. Come on. They got more than enough tight ends.
They do, but they don't have a really great one. They don't have a good one.
Well, we don't even know. We don't know what Tyler Kroft can be. I mean, let's give the guy a chance. He's just played one game. I'm not ready to quit on him yet either. I think receiver, if he's going to make a move, it's going to be a receiver. The other thing that is possible is edge rusher. I think if they can find an edge rusher, we talked about pass rush has been an issue. If there's a guy out there that can be had to help the pass rush, he might go that way too.
Well, the Bengals, Carlos Dunlap might be.
That's a nice player.
He's a really affordable, versatile, productive guy. And the Bengals are 0-7.
Yeah, they're looking to move guys.
So they're looking to move guys as well. So he's someone to really watch. The other one was Vic Beasley, Atlanta.
Yep, heard his
very
name.
expensive.
He's
already on.
He's a first-round pick.
First-round pick. He's got a $12 million number on him. But again, he was a former Pro Bowler. Probably needs a change of scenery right now.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a weapon that would solve some of the pass rush.
I agree with that take. Like I said, I think if they can't get receiver and if he's dying to do something, I think the next place to go would be edge rusher. They've got to find a better way to get to the quarterback because, as we said, he's not a big blitzing defensive coordinator. They got to get the pressure.
If he wants to go with, you said he wants to go with the 4, then he better get a better floor right now.
Right. And let's face it, Shaq Lawson has been a decent player. He's not a great pass rusher. Daryl Johnson's a rookie. I mean, he's kind of overmatched right now. He's made a couple nice plays, but he's playing like 20 snaps a game.
I mean, Trent Murphy's a nice player, but he's got 0 sacks.
I mean, Trent Murphy's a grinder, but they need somebody who can get to the quarterback. They don't have that guy right now. Not even Jerry Hughes. So, anyways, I think it's
I know, and believe me, we know Brandon Beane. We know he's He's not
working the phones.
He's not sitting on his hands. I would not accuse him of that. We know that he.
And the other thing is they got the cap space. They've got the 4th most cap space right now in the NFL. So they could overpay for a guy and not really be too harmed on the cap. I wouldn't be in favor of that.
And they got 9 picks in next year's draft. They got 3 to work with. They have some assets to work with.
Yeah, not high assets.
Most of them are later round. Right. I think they got 3 in the 6th round from moves they made.
Plus, their draft picks aren't all that valuable if they continue to keep
going. They're going to be picking at the
in
bottom,
the 20s.
So it's you're right.
Hope, right? We hope they're going to be picking in the 20s. All right. Anyways, it's going to be an interesting game this week. I really think that the Bills will be tested. I've already gone on record on the radio a little while ago saying I don't like this spot for the Bills. I think the Eagles are a team. They're that wounded dog. Their backs are against the wall. It's the old cliches, but they really are. They can't afford to keep losing. Or they're not going to be in it in that NFC East. I just don't like the timing of this game, Leo, for the Bills. I think the Eagles are going to come in there, and I think it's going to be a close game. I think they're going to get it. I think they're going to beat the Bills. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't like this spot. There's something about this feeling. The Eagles have lost 2 in a row. Are they going to lose 3 in a row? Is that team going to lose?
Well, if they lose 3 in a row, their season's over.
Well, it's not over. The NFC East is wide open still, but they'd be in a tough spot.
The Bills get to play the Redskins after the 1-win Redskins team after this one.
Right.
And not that they're looking ahead to that, but it's just like I said, the way the schedule is. Yeah, this is one of the a quality win if they beat them. But yeah, I like the Eagles too. I mean, they're a good team, and usually when you're a good team with good coaching,
exactly.
Some of these guys, you
find a way to get out of it.
They're going to get out of this. They're not going to come in here like the Dolphins and everybody, all these other. I don't know what it says about to get a schedule like this and to what does it say about the NFL in general?
There's a lot of bad teams this year, especially in the AFC.
Yeah, the Bills are just
there's some good teams in the NFC, but the AFC is down.
Yeah, they are down.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. We'll be out there Sunday afternoon at New Era Field. It's supposed to be another mid-60s day, Leo, which is great for the fans. Might rain a little bit according to the early forecast, but I think it's nice to get all these games in October at home. Remember all those stupid games that we had in December? A lot of them were just wasteful.
This is good for the fan.
This is good for the fan experience.
Happy for the fans. They go out there and absolutely, it's a great atmosphere. Last week was wild. It'll be nice. It is. It's always interesting to go out there. I'm always amazed.
I know.
by this fan base. They are the best.
All right, for Leo, I am Sal. Have a great week, and we'll see you at the stadium on Sunday afternoon. Bills Eagles, 1:00.